haven't posted anything in a while, so I guess I thought it'd be interesting to talk about breathing. I think for me, when I breathe, I want the same body that I have when I play. So if I take a big, what people call a big breath, or if you see somebody go like, 2 commas in their music, so they'll take a big breath, that generally will ruin my playing, because then my body isn't the same. So here's my body now, which is nothing like where it was. So look at my neck and my ribs and so forth and so on. So I try to keep my ribs together like the same. I try not to pull and push on any one particular part of my ribs. So when I breathe, I don't do this. You can see how that compresses my sound. Also, listen to how it pinches my tongue. So then I'm sharp. So then I'm having to use my neck to bring my pitch down to get to here. So, but in that time, I'm also choking at my neck. So if I didn't do any of those things and I just breathed the way I would breathe normally standing, by considering my entire body is ultimately great if I can do that. It's not so easy. But at least if I can consider my whole rib mechanism from my collarbone down as a unit. So when I take a breath, I'm just leaving all that the same. Now if I did this, let's get my back, everything is compressed. So the nature of the beast here, the flute, has to stay in the same relationship with the spine all the time. You don't want to be dealing with pushing and pulling on your flute. You don't want to bear down on it. So the breath has to include the entire. So I don't do this funny thing I sometimes see where people pooch out real low, like below the navel. They'll go, but listen to what that does to my sound. First of all, I'm wildly sharp and I can't control my vibrato. So that would be accentuating. To push my belly out, I'm going to have to accentuate these ribs here. So I'm tightening the back, and that's also going to pull my neck down. So I really don't want to do any of those things. I just want to let the breath, think of the ribs as like one of those big dress dummy things, that you see on the stand. Just like that, like a unit. Don't push and pull as much as you can. Just leave it the same. And then, take your lumps. If you don't get a great breath, the next one will be better, is my attitude. Rather than trying to get through, like, what's a hard thing? Oh, geez. I don't know. If I'm trying to get through a phrase, that wasn't a big deal, but usually when I hear people play it, I hear this kind of thing, And then everything is horrible because all of those extra nervous breaths just serve to complicate and throw things off. So it's like you want to be like a gyroscope, you want to let it go, not mess around, and it works. I mean, easier said than done, right? But I think if you just think about the ribs and also how they relate to the tongue, because the tongue really stays the same. Now, if I get nervous there and I do something dumb like squeezing my lip or like, you know, this kind of embouchure to get my nose to come out, I'll get this. I'll be flat. Because then by squeezing here, I'm pushing my tongue down. They hear it in my voice as I'm talking. I'm holding my tongue. So that's no good either. So these are some of the things I tell my students and myself. Try to keep my playing on track.